As the title of this video says, if you were expecting more of the same, I'm truly sorry to disappoint. I guess this has been coming for a while. A few of you may have noticed my absence, and for that, I am sorry, but I needed the time to figure a few things out. You see, I've come to realize that there is something that I really need to talk about. It's been a long time coming, and really, it's something which is only possible because of you. Yes, you. You, right now. You listening to this. You who have read my words, and you who have seen my journey. You. Perfect. You. So, I was thinking, how about this? Instead of the usual fabrication, instead of more of the same, instead of the standard video where you listen to me read a story, how about something a little different? It occurred to me quite suddenly, actually, during the Christmas break just gone, that you all think you know me, but maybe you don't know the real me. So I suppose it's only right, and I suppose it's only fair that you get to know me, all of me. As I said, after all, this is only possible because of you. So let's start with some honesty for once. Okay, this has been coming for a while, but the name you know me by isn't actually my real name. I bet you didn't know that, did you? I love a little plot twist, but honestly, this one, well, it really wasn't planned. I chose it, and if you was to ask me why, I honestly couldn't tell you the reason, only that when I started this, felt, it just felt right. Of course, you may be thinking that you know me, that you know my life, that you've seen into my soul, into me through that little window into my social media, and that you know I possibly couldn't keep something like this a secret. Well, guess again. I am very good at lying. Now, I don't say that as a point of pride. I mean, it wasn't until recently that I discovered that little gem out about myself, but the fact of the matter is, I am very good at concealing the real me, and as it turns out, I am really good at lying. Do you want to know something else you didn't know? Well, here are 3 fun facts about me. My mother was a drunk. My father was a cheat. My family is a wreck. See, there are a few things about me that won't make your Twitter feed. I'm sure you won't see that dark part of my past plastered all over your Instagram, but that doesn't stop any of those 3 statements from being true now, does it? And that's the funny thing about the internet. Anyone can be anyone. I mean, look at me. I blended into your community, and you never saw it, did you? That little point where the story was a little too close to the bone, where things cut a little too close for comfort. No, you didn't. And, well, to be fair, I can't really blame you. Neither did I. Like I said, my mother was a drunk, and now so am I. Life, fiction, life. In the end, it all blends together quite nicely, doesn't it? But where does the fantasy end and the reality begin? What is the difference between the thoughts which make a story and the thoughts which make me? See, if I can imagine some very nasty things, some terrible ways to kill a character on a page, is that thought a part of me, part of my personality, part of my life, or is it simply just a part of the world that I'm trying to create? Are they 2 separate things? Are they connected? Are my creations and my personality independent of each other, or are they a mess of the same thing? Where exactly is the line? Now, there's a question, and that's the question that has been growing. That is what's been gnawing at me for some time, and that is the reason that I know how good I am at lying. All it took was just a little exposure to the horrific for me to realise just how good I am at it. To be fair, I didn't really realise the extent of my lie until, as I mentioned recently, as it seems I've been lying to myself, probably for longer than I care to admit. But how ironic is that? A bloody plot twist, and I didn't see it coming. I would say it started with the words on the page, but really it started when I was young. As you can probably guess from my three statements, my childhood was anything but normal. Well, it was not normal compared to all the other children, that I knew. My house was constantly a mess. We ate frozen foods most nights, and my father, well, my father, we really didn't connect at all. He was always off with a new strange distraction, trying his best to find his purpose in life when really, through all of his searching, he completely missed the fact that his purpose was sitting eating frozen food in a half-decorated, broken home. I still remember the screams, the arguments, the feelings of feeling useless, all of it. I remember the sleepovers at my nan's house, the excuses that mummy's just tired, and that perfect story that when I was about 12 weeks old, my mother had dropped me, quite superbly I've heard, straight onto the soft part of my fresh, brand new head. And it wasn't until I was older, when I knew of the extent of her addiction, that it occurred to me that she must have been drunk at the time. I mean, I was 12 weeks old. Shouldn't I have been the most valuable thing in the world to her? No, obviously not. But how do you live with that? The realization that you are nothing in comparison to an addiction, that you are less than a chemical reaction. What sort of a person does that make you if you're a person at all? A real person has meaning. A real person has value. And the more that I recall that story, the more I realize that if my life ever held any value, it held little to her. But how could it? I've never been a real person. Most people, most educated people may look back at this in hindsight once events come to pass and blame a head injury, but really, they're only kidding themselves. I mean, there's no physical reason for my being, no logical reason. I just am. I remember thinking bad things, but who could really blame me? Life was a joke, and there they were. They were dark, they were confusing. Of course, they were confusing. I mean, I was left alone with nobody for guidance, no parents, no support, nothing but the confusion and the pain of what I was born into. I really never stood a chance. But here I am. I grew and I become my mother. I found addiction again and again. I developed and then I grew some more until finally, well, apparently, I learnt what it took to be a normal person. But as I've come to realise, there is nothing normal about me. As I said, where is the line? I write about murder, I write about stalkers, I write about all the darkest parts of the human condition, and it's only now, after some reflection, that I have come to realise that I have been lying. The darkness that I tell is that of my own. These little things that I type, these words, these little stories, they are more than just stories. They are part of me. Every little word that I put to page, every little syllable that comes together to convey some kind of meaning, all of it, it has been me all this time, pouring my heart out, my pain and my darkness out upon you, out into the world, out to all who will listen. Usually it will go unheard, but the internet makes lying so easy. I could lie to me, I could lie to you, I could lie to the world, but the thing with a lie is it never stays buried for long. These things that I write, I want them. Let me clarify in no uncertain terms. I have come to realise that the darkness which I put to page, the terrible things that I have written, that they are more than just my imagination. They are my desires. These things are me. They are the sickest torn pieces of me. I've been living my life for so many years as a broken recreation of a man, a waxwork figure of what a person should be, and that just isn't me. I'm more powerful than that, and it is time I came to live with that fact. It's something that I now know, and because you have indulged me, because you have been there to listen when nobody else would, it has been allowed to grow, and now all that is left is for me to set it free. And that is what this is, a platform for my growth. It has been a way for me to experiment, for me to influence, for me to grow into the person that I always should have been. And you, just like those educated people, your attention has set me free. You have allowed this. You have allowed me to vent. You have listened through this network and you have given me a voice. I honestly don't know what I'm about to do, but whatever they eventually say about me, I'm sure that I'll be immortalised. Do you disagree with me? You shouldn't. Just take a closer look at what is going on in this thing that we call our world. Toxic masculinity, lines created to divide, political opinion, conspiracy narratives, war, and more war. It is all there and it is all eating us alive, but most importantly, all of it is talked about over and over until you're sick of the sound, but we just can't help ourselves, can we? As I said, I'm very good at lying, so I'll leave it to you, my audience, to decide just how much of what I have said here tonight is true. I suppose, after tonight, it doesn't really matter. The truth will be skewed, who I am will be transformed, and through whisper, I'll become something completely different. I will become legend. Did you ever hear about that one guy on the internet who snapped? Oh, he was such a misunderstood soul. I lived next door to him for 10 years. I never saw it coming. He seemed so nice. So nice. As my mother would attest, there has never been a single nice thing about me. If there was, she may have put down the can and she may have thrown herself to the floor to prevent my fall, but as you know, that wasn't the case. Wow, I've been holding on to that for so long and now it is out there. It feels so good, you know? Just good to get it off my chest. I feel much more, well, lighter, if that was possible. Now, if they do talk about this video, please do me a small favour, will you? Will you tell them? Tell them what I said. Tell them all about the real me. Tell them all about my story. Go on. Get it twisted. Add your own sick contribution. skew me, turn me, make me your own. But if they want to know me, if they really want to know the real me, know my name, make sure that you tell them the following. Tell them that I am the alpha corrupting a sea of detached young men. Tell them that I am the pseudo-celebrity created through the creation of content. Tell them that I am the podcast, the blogger, a metric and a view. That I am a subscription, that I'm a follower, a haunting, and a ghost in the machine. I am a collective voice, whispering, corrupting. I am the line which has been moved and it is clearly no longer recognizable, and I am the voice of your indulgence. I am a lie within the wind, and I am a seed of darkness allowed to grow within the dirty, corrupted world that we all choose to ignore. I am the person between the cracks, and I'm almost that waxwork figure of what a person should be. Forget me, remember me, or make me your own. Because after all, it doesn't really matter. Because in the end, for a second, I meant something, and my actions will live longer than any name I could possibly ever hold. So, good night, my friends, and I guess you'll be seeing me on the news. Because now, after a lifetime of lies, it's time for something a little different. And that was Update. It's time for something a little different. A story written by me. And just to confirm, that definitely was a story. I got the idea to do something like that around the Christmas break when I become quite busy and I honestly haven't been uploading as much as I should be uploading. I thought, well, maybe there's a reason why I'm not uploading. Maybe there's something there that I can build into a story and play with the fourth wall to a certain degree. And it was an idea which I've seen done somewhere else, done very, very well somewhere else by another narrator. And unfortunately, I can't exactly say who it was or the name of the video because it kind of gives away the fun. But I'm sure that if you're listening to me right now, you've more than likely heard his version and it's very, very good. But yeah, this was meant to be kind of like a reset for the channel. I haven't been uploading as much as I should, and that's something which I aim to change in the future. So there's going to be a few things happening moving forward. Firstly, non-channel related. I'm writing another novel, a book. I've got the idea. I've got the free time compared to last year when things just got a bit out of control. So I'm aiming to get that done, put together, and hopefully completed by the end of the year. So more of that to follow. But in regards to the channel itself, I'm going to scale back slightly because I think it's better to aim low and then all you can do is exceed expectations. So I originally had a target of doing videos once every weekend, but to be completely honest, with my 9 to 5 commitments during the week, it's just not something that's doable. So I'm going to scale down to one video a month where I can put all of my effort and time into making it the best product possible. Of course, if I find that I have more free time, I will endeavor to do more, put more out there, and just try to increase that schedule. But I think a commitment of one per month is good for me now. So that's what it's going to be moving forward. And please, if you do have a story which you would like me to read, you can send it over to me at awritestruggle@gmail.com. If I don't get any stories, it's just going to be more of me, more of my stories. But yeah, that's the book. That's the long form content on the channel. But I also had an idea to start putting out some shorts. It's kind of in its infancy, the idea at the moment, but there will be more to follow. And in the coming days and weeks, you're going to see that the channel is going to be updated, the banner, the look, and by the next video, hopefully you should see that the editing and the intros and voice acting, fingers crossed, uh, increases in quality. But let's see how it goes. I'm excited for the year. I'm excited for what's going to come. And hopefully by the end of it, if you're listening to this right now, you're still here. And hopefully we've grown and we've achieved something. So thank you for listening. And until next time, remember, there is more than shadow beyond the light.